In the summer of 1966, the Italian football team arrived in England as one of the favourites to win the World Cup. They had won the tournament twice. Their squad contained some of the finest players in Europe. They were eliminated by a team of part-time soldiers from one of the most isolated countries on earth. The man who scored the goal was not a dentist, although the Italians would claim otherwise for years. His name was Pak Doo-ik. He was a corporal in the Korean People's Army. This is his story. The 1966 World Cup was held in England, the country that had invented the game, hosting the tournament for the first time. Italy arrived as serial winners. They had won the World Cup in 1934 and 1938. Their club sides, Inter Milan and AC Milan, had won the European Cup in consecutive years in the early 1960s. Names like Sandro Mazzola, Gianni Rivera and Giacinto Facchetti were known across European football. Their group, Group 4, also contained the Soviet Union, Chile and, almost as an afterthought in the tournament draw, North Korea, a country most football watchers had never thought about, a team that had qualified from one of the most politically complex selection processes in World Cup history, beating Australia in a two-legged playoff held in Phnom Penh, Cambodia. Their players were soldiers. Their country had been at war just 13 years earlier. Nobody gave them a chance. North Korea based themselves in Middlesbrough, a working-class industrial town in the northeast of England that had never previously had any connection to East Asia or to international football of any significance. What happened next was one of sport's most unexpected love stories. The people of Middlesbrough adopted the North Korean team completely. They turned up to their training sessions. They cheered them in the stands at Ayresome Park Stadium. They made banners. They gave them sweets and gifts. Defender Rim Jung-sun, speaking years later, could not explain it. It still remains a riddle to me that the people of Middlesbrough supported us the whole way through. I still don't know the reason why. Perhaps it was simply that Middlesbrough recognised something in this team. People who had worked hard, travelled far, and arrived somewhere nobody expected them. North Korea's group campaign did not begin smoothly. They lost their opening match to the Soviet Union 3-0, though they competed with real spirit before tiring in the final 20 minutes. Their second match against Chile produced one of the tournament's great moments. Trailing with the match almost over, Pak Sung-sin burst through in the 88th minute and equalised with a powerful shot. Ayresome Park erupted. The draw kept North Korea alive. Now they needed to beat Italy, not draw, win. Italy needed only a draw to qualify. Their manager, Edmondo Fabri, was not concerned. Gianni Rivera later recalled their mood. We were convinced that as we only needed a draw, we wouldn't have any problem against a side which we believed to be, and which was, inferior. The match kicked off on the afternoon of July 19th, 1966. 34th minute. Italian captain Giacomo Bulgarelli lunged into a challenge on North Korea's Pak Sung-jin. He caught his knee badly. In an era before substitutes were permitted in World Cup matches, they would not be allowed until 1970. Bulgarelli had no choice but to leave the field. Italy were down to 10 men, with the score still goalless. Even now, the watching world did not expect North Korea to win. Italy had enough quality to hold a one-goal lead, even with 10 players. Surely they would hold on. 4 minutes before half-time, the ball broke loose at the edge of the Italian penalty area. Pak Doo-ik received the ball. He was a corporal in the Korean People's Army. He was 29 years old. He had never played in a game like this in his life. He did not hesitate. He struck the ball with his right foot from just outside the penalty area. It flew low and hard, past the dive of Italian goalkeeper Enrico Albertosi and into the net. Ayresome Park. 17,000 people, the vast majority of them locals, who had never seen North Korea play a football match before this tournament, erupted. The BBC commentator, Frank Balfe, not known for overstatement, simply said, "What a sensation! Italy a goal down to North Korea!" Whoever would have believed it? Nobody had believed it. And yet, there it was. Italy threw everything at North Korea in the second half. Mazzola and Rivera attacked relentlessly. Crosses came from every angle, but Ri Chan-myung, North Korea's goalkeeper, small in stature but enormous in conviction, refused to concede. He later explained his mentality in words that have never been forgotten. "Behind me was the goal, which was small, but behind the goal was our nation. If I conceded a goal, the reputation of North Korea would fall, and therefore I guarded the goal with my life." The final whistle blew. North Korea 1, Italy 0. Two-time world champions eliminated from the group stage by a team of soldiers from one of the world's most isolated nations. For Italy, the return home was humiliating. Their plane landed and angry supporters pelted the players with rotten tomatoes. The coach was dismissed. The players faced sustained criticism for months. For North Korea, the immediate future was extraordinary. They went on to lead Portugal, arguably the second best team in the tournament, 3-0 in the quarter-final at Goodison Park in Liverpool. Then Eusebio, one of the greatest players in the world, scored 4 times. Portugal won 5-3. And for Pak Doo-ik himself, the story took a darker turn. Although he was initially celebrated as a hero, the report suggested that following North Korea's collapse against Portugal, the squad faced political consequences for throwing away such a commanding lead. Pak Doo-ik was reportedly sent to work in a forest for 10 years. He was later rehabilitated. In 2008, he carried the Olympic torch through Pyongyang. In Middlesbrough, on the site where Ayresome Park once stood, where 17,000 people watched something unbelievable, a bronze cast of Pak Doo-ik's boot marks sit in the earth at the exact spot where his right foot struck the ball. The 1966 North Korea team is one of football's most beloved mysteries. A group of soldiers from a country cut off from the world who arrived in a small English town, were adopted by its people, beat one of the great football nations, and then disappeared almost completely from public knowledge for decades. Their story was finally told in a 2002 documentary called The Game of Their Lives, which tracked down the surviving members of the squad. Most had led quiet, ordinary lives. They remembered Middlesbrough with warmth, spoke of the friendships made across political and cultural divides, and expressed pride, not bitterness, in what they had achieved. Pak Doo-ik was not a dentist. He was a corporal who struck the ball cleanly with his right foot on a Tuesday afternoon in July, in a modest stadium in the north of England. That was enough. A corporal who beat 2-time world champions. A goalkeeper who guarded his nation with his life. A small English town that fell in love with a team from the other side of the world. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe. We publish a new piece of football history every single day. Next time, we travel to the Japan and Korea 2002. Ronaldo had suffered a mysterious seizure before the 1998 final and played badly. 4 years later, with all of Brazil willing him on, he scored twice to destroy Germany. Until then, sometimes the most extraordinary results happen in the most ordinary places.